Hey everybody, Jay Super Awesome here. I would like to welcome you to episode number 10 of my horror movie spotlight. In this episode, we will be taking a look at 88 Film Slasher Classics Collection List number 3, numbers releases number 21 through 30. This should be fun, so let's get started. Okay, first up is Prozzie, also known as Double Jeopardy. Regardless of its moniker, this superb slice and dice sickie is one of the most underrated knife play pot bowlers ever imagined, with love portraying a female fatale that has a damaged background and a wonderfully skillful way with sharp utensils. Let's put it this way, you may want her to undress, but the chances are that it is her who will be doing the penetrating. Okay, next up is The First Power. Detective Logan believes he saved LA from the satanic killer Patrick Channing, who the media had dubbed the Pentagram Killer. Unfortunately for Logan, Channing has made a pact with the devil and has gained the first power, immortality. Now tasked with stopping a dead man who can take the image of anyone at any time, Logan buddies up with a beautiful psychic, Tess Griffith, to prevent Channing from carving up more innocent civilians and claiming his revenge on Logan. Next up is Intruder. It's 10 p.m., the night before Walnut Lake's neighborhood supermarket closes its doors forever. The owners and night crew have a long shift ahead of them, longer than they think. Ace checkout girl Jennifer has a deranged ex-boyfriend who's fresh out of prison. When he appears outside, weird things start happening. The phone lines are cut, and the night crew start dying, one by one, in the most gruesome ways imaginable. An ex-cop is trying to find out who the killer is and what possessed him to start the bloody rampage. But is it the ex-boyfriend, or is it someone else? Okay, up next is Mountaintop Motel Massacre. By 1986, many Fear fans were probably under the impression that the slasher genre had run out of surprises. However, Mountaintop Motel Massacre indicates that nothing could be further from the truth. Unlike so many of its contemporaries, this positively sleazy and sanguine-stained sickie features an older antagonist in the seriously psychotic Evelyn, an elderly and absolutely insane off-road hotel owner that might well give Norman Bates some sleepless nights. When Evelyn is not taking a sickle to faces of those stupid enough to rent a room from her one-star establishment, she is planting poisonous snakes under their beds and hiding in an underground bunker that gives her plenty of time to plan her next bout of shockingly brutal slaughter. Okay, next up is Return to Horaha. A young George Clooney is among the cast being stalked and slaughtered in the 80s slasher classic Return to Horaha. Before Wes Craven's Scream defined the style of the postmodern horror movie, Return to Horaha was offering its own tongue-in-cheek nod to the tropes and tribulations of the contemporary hack-em-up film by having a group of fright filmmakers hunted and harassed by a mysterious marauder in a deserted educational establishment. Yes, this is not the return to teenage thrills and spills that the cast and crew were hoping for when they decided to shoot in Horror High, so called because in the past it had been the site of a bloodbath killing spree. Now, years later, the frights and fun are about to come back. thick and fast as a serial slaughterer makes an unexpected comeback. Next up is Hide and Go Shriek. Close your eyes, count to 10, and run for your life. Hide and Go Shriek is one game you'll be dying to finish. 8 friends sneak into a furniture store for an all-night graduation party. A game of hide and seek turns into a grisly nightmare as members of the group are murdered, one by one, leading the others to the chilling realization that they could be next. In the terrifying tradition of Friday the 13th and Halloween comes Hide and Go Shriek, a horrifying game of life and death. Okay, next up is Just Before Dawn. The nightmare has begun. Beloved cult filmmaker Jeff Lieberman already horrified audiences across the world with the killer worm epic Squirm in 1976, but he arguably outdid himself with Just Before Dawn in 1981, one of the most popular slasher classics to ever tear up the inside of a grindhouse movie theater. In this powerful bout of plasma-splashing cinema, a group of teenage vacationers opt for an ill-advised hike around the beautiful national forests of Oregon. But Lieberman is quick to show that backwoods baddies do not just exist in the American South. They can also be found preying on campers in the supposedly more liberal and safe West Coast too. With machete massacre galore, masked maniacs on the prowl, and plenty of skinny dipping and flesh ripping to enjoy. Okay, next up is Happy Hell Night. The screams you hear will be your own. 25 years ago, he sold his soul to the devil. Now, it's time to pay. Happy Hell Night is a fright flick that has the cinematic quality of a highbrow hack and stab, slice and dicer, and the fast-paced sex and violence sensibility of the video cassette cut 'em up. Released in 1992 to appreciative audiences who believe the bloodshed of Friday the 13th era had long since passed. This is the claustrophobic tale of supernatural stabbings in an old deserted asylum, and when some youngsters begin bothering this dusty place of the past, they are understandably upset to find out that it houses a hysterical lunatic that does not intend to retire his limb-lopping ambitions anytime soon. Okay, next up is Luther the Geek. As a child, the sight of a chicken's head being ripped from its body by the jaws of a carnival geek was a life-changing experience for little Luther Watts. Decades later, and following the grown-up and deeply disturbed Luther's incarceration, the balding cycle journey back to his hometown is going to be marked by a similar bloodshed. And thanks to Luther's razor-sharp metal teeth, it'll be more than poultry that's being tore asunder. Okay, last up is Toolbox Murders. In a quiet apartment complex in Los Angeles, a deranged handyman goes on a killing spree, savagely murdering immoral women with the tools of his trade, claw hammers, power drills, and even a deadly nail gun. But these gruesome massacres are just the beginning of this landmark epic of violence and depravity that was vilified by critics, banned by censors, and treasured by splatter fans worldwide. Okay, so there you have it, a look at 88 Film Slasher Classics Collection, list number 3, releases 21 through 30. Be sure to join me again next time for episode 11, as we will be taking a look at 10 Stephen King horror film adaptations. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment below, and let me know what you think about this video And I would like to thank you for watching.